The returns aren't stopping for WWE, but first we got some major news to get through. As always, timestamps in the description down below. A lot of people were wondering about Kenny Omega's contract situation within AEW, and Wrestling Observer newsletter came out with some details. It appears Kenny Omega signed a 4-year deal with AEW on February 1st, 2019, so his deal in theory would be up in February 2023. Now, a lot of people were also wondering, what does AEW do in the sense of a contract when a wrestler is injured? And just like WWE, AEW has taken that approach to actually freeze contracts. So in theory, AEW could technically have the contractual right to extend Omega's contract if they wished. Now, however long that may be, I guess really just depends on the amount of time Omega has missed, and we don't technically know when Omega will return, despite the fact that we did talk about the fact that he might return in time for AEW All Out. Now, with that being said, Kenny Omega obviously being a free agent, possibly by next year, February, I think a lot of people would say for certain Kenny Omega would stay with AEW. And if you are one of those people who believe that, trust me, I think that is very likely. However, I just want to throw out the idea out there. I want to get your guys' opinions. Now that Triple H is in power with WWE, do we believe that there could be an opportunity for Kenny Omega at some point in his career to join WWE? Now, under Vince McMahon's regime, I would say that has a 0% chance. However, with Stephanie, Nick Khan, and Triple H taking the reins of the company, I'm just saying it's not impossible. And I'm honestly saying this like from a perspective of just being a wrestling fan. There are a couple matchups I want to see from Kenny Omega in WWE. So whether those people join AEW or Kenny joins WWE, I really don't care. As a fan, I want to see them. And I've talked about it a lot. Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns is a very big marquee match, which I just feel like one day has to happen. And I'm starting to get the impression that it could be possible. Do I think Kenny Omega will leave AEW? Honestly, I don't. But do I think it is possible? I do. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens after that contract ends. All right, guys, Dustin Rhodes is alluding to in-ring retirement recently at Terrificon 2022. Dustin Rhodes spoke about his in-ring career, and it basically appears that his next step might just be a coach. And I honestly have no problem with this whatsoever. However, I do want to say Dustin Rhodes has had some pretty sick matches in AEW, despite the fact that he's older and despite the fact that he's a longtime veteran. Typically, veterans in WWE, they're used as the enhancement role, and to a certain extent, Dustin Rhodes has been in that position to help other talent. But the fact that this guy is having incredible matches in AEW, I don't want to see him retire. I really don't want to see him retire. I'm not saying he has to be put in prominent storylines and stuff like that, but it's just kind of cool watching this guy, and seeing the massive changes he's made throughout his career to get to the point where he's just become so damn good and so knowledgeable. I feel like AEW is going to have a lot of talent who can learn from him, especially because AEW doesn't necessarily have a developmental system. The idea of them having some really, really good coaches and veterans to help other talent, I just think it's a great win for AEW. Dustin Rhodes is awesome, man, and I always go back to Double or Nothing, Dustin versus Cody, one of my favorite matches all time in AEW. I just love wrestling matches that have emotion and storytelling like that, and it was just a great treat. So there is a chance that he may be retiring soon, but I get it. I totally understand. So I want to know what you guys think about Dustin Rhodes possibly retiring. I find it to be very interesting, but let me know what you guys think. If you guys didn't hear about this, this is some very interesting stuff. So basically, Warner Brothers Discovery and BT Sports have created a new joint venture, and out in the UK, this has a lot of people questioning what is going to happen between WWE and AEW in terms of television distribution. Now, if you guys didn't know, BT Sport has the exclusive rights to WWE, Raw, and SmackDown, NXT, or whatever, all in the UK. And then as of right now, AEW is just being broadcasted on Fight TV. So if you're outside of North America, then that would be one of the ways to watch AEW out there. Now, of course, a lot of people were wondering, what does this mean for basically, Warner Bros. Discovery and BT Sport coming together? What does that mean for WWE's product or AEW's product? Now, just to kind of give you guys a clear idea, WWE typically has a contractual clause within those agreements that suggest no other wrestling promotion could be aired on the same channel. So for those who think maybe AEW might get a TV deal in the UK that would be on the same as WWE's, that doesn't seem to be likely. However, I do think it's a very interesting thing that they've come up with their own station. I just think this is such a unique piece of information out there because, Triple H is running WWE now. Stephanie and Nick Khan and Triple H might have different plans or different ideas from Vince McMahon. So I'm just curious to see how this unfolds. Obviously, this is going to be extremely interesting to pay attention to as time goes on. And then, of course, keep in mind NXT UK. NXT UK uses the BT Sport production studio for tapings, and recently those got canceled. So I'm sure a lot of people are scratching their head at this and wondering what is happening. But I find it to be interesting. This is definitely a story to keep paying attention to, so I'll keep giving you guys updates as time goes on. And our final story of the day, guys, Hit Row might be back in WWE. In fact, Ashanti, the Adonis, and Top Dollar are expected to be at SmackDown August 12th, 2022, and we don't know exactly the plans here. PW Insider reported that there's been a lot of talk in the last 24 hours about Top Dollar making his return, and then there was an update to the story that Ashanti, the Adonis, will be there as well. Now, there's been no mention of B-Fab, and then obviously we all know that Swerve Strickland is in AEW. But AJ Francis, he's somebody I've been paying attention to ever since his WWE release. Obviously, he was doing that WWE A&E show, Most Wanted Treasures. He actually came to Twitter and rejected all this. He said he's actually not even part of the show anymore. Nobody told him. It was something that he's kind of known for a while. And then also when people asked him about these reports, he was just saying it was all cap. So at the end of the day, I really don't know if it's true, if these two will be there, but the reports are out there that suggest they could be there. And just so everybody's clear, Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis were both pretty favored by Triple H. Hit Row was a Triple H NXT thing, and Vince McMahon kind of dropped the ball on that. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to be a tag team? What are they trying to do? I know WWE is looking at building up their tag team division. It's going to be a big focus, so I welcome this change. Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis are good, and bringing them back to SmackDown will be interesting. How do they go about this? Are they back under Hit Row? Do they have a different name? How do they go creatively about this? I'm curious to see what happens. But Triple H is not done with the returns and the signings. We'll kind of see how it goes. Again, SmackDown's roster is a little bit lighter than Raw's, so I understand adding people to SmackDown. I just don't want to see WWE get into the same situation as AEW or NXT back in 2020 when the roster was so bloated and people were missing out on TV time. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.